Hey, what's the word, players? I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and now with the Game Awards just around the corner, I thought it'd be cool to go over what games I am nominating for the Game Awards. Now, I do want to put a disclaimer that I've not played every game that came out this year. I really wish I did, but either I did not have the time or I did not have the money. In fact, some of these games I literally just got over the Steam sale that just came out for Black Friday. So my votes are mainly on what I've seen online, plus what I've seen based on trailers and a little bit of gameplay here and there. I did already vote ahead of time, but there are two categories in particular that I wanted to vote live. So let's get into it. So we're gonna start from the bottom and work our way up to Game of the Year. So the first one was Best Esports Event between League of Legends, Blast, Paris Major, Evo, International Dota, Valorant. Come on, of course we had to go with Evo. Even before I was competing in fighting games, Evo was always such a blast to tune into, and this year it apparently was so big that there is now an official day. Alright, esports coach, esports team, esports athlete. Honestly, does anyone actually care about these categories? It seems like these always fly by, and it's always like, why are these here? Who cares? I didn't even bother voting for those. However, I did choose Best Esports Game, which the categories were Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, League of Legends, PUBG Mobile, and Valorant. The only one I had any mild curiosity was Valorant. Especially when the game was new, I was watching a lot of people play it. It's pretty entertaining. I would probably never play it myself, but it's pretty cool to watch. Maybe I should play it. Let me know if I should play it down below. I wasn't really feeling Content Creator of the Year this year, so I skipped over that. So went into Most Anticipated Game. This anticipated game seemed kind of weird for anyone else because it's not like it's a gauge of the quality of the game. It's just more what game generates the most hype. But anyway, the games were Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hades 2, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Star Wars Outlaws, and Tekken 8. Now, since we do primarily talk about fighting games a lot on this channel, naturally you would think I would say Tekken 8, especially since I said I was really looking forward to that game. However, you might be surprised that I did not choose Tekken 8, but I actually chose Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I absolutely love the Yakuza / Like a Dragon series. I still have to play through all of them, but from the ones that I have played so far, it's a really good series, and really liking what I've seen from Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. It's so tough because all of these games I'm looking forward to. It's just that if I had to pick a winner, it'd have to be Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Moving on, we got Best Adaptation, which had Castlevania Nocturne, Gran Turismo, The Last of Us, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and Twisted Metal. Out of all these, I only saw one, which was the Super Mario movie. The movie itself, it was alright, but I was very scared that it was going to be a really crappy movie, but it was entertaining. It was good. Next was Best Multiplayer Game, which was between Baldur's Gate 3, Diablo 4, Party Animals, Street Fighter 6, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Honestly, with this, it really came down to two things, Street Fighter 6 and Mario Bros. Wonder, but I had to go with Street Fighter 6. This is the game that I put so much time and effort into playing, into competing, into traveling. I still have yet to complete World Tour mode, which I really need to. We've been clamoring for single player content, and we finally got great single player content, but the multiplayer is just so fun. I think that's a good hallmark of a good multiplayer game. So Best Sim / Strategy, we have Advanced Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, City Skylines 2, Company of Heroes 3, Fire Emblem Engage, and Pikmin 4. So I have not played these games because I'm not really that much of a strategy person, but this is going entirely based on what I see myself playing. And so in terms of what I would see myself playing, it was Pikmin 4. Honestly, it was a toss-up between Fire Emblem Engage and Pikmin 4, but ultimately I picked Pikmin 4 because, I don't know, Pikmin just needs love. That's pretty much my reason for picking it, but it also looks really great. Alright, moving on, we got Best Family Game, which has Disney, Illusion Island, Party Animals, Pikmin 4, Sonic Superstars, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Honestly, this is a really tough category. as both a Mario and a Sonic fan. I really had to stop and think about this for a moment, but ultimately I chose Mario Brothers Wonder. The thing is, Sonic Superstars was not built with multiplayer in mind. It seemed like it was more of an afterthought. Unfortunately, Pikmin 4, I don't really think of multiplayer that much when I think of Pikmin. Party Animals, probably a fun game, but I literally have not heard anything about it since it came out. And Disney Illusion Island, probably fun for the whole family, but probably more skewed towards younger players. Everything seems like would be a great choice, but I think Mario Brothers Wonder just took the edge just a little bit more. Next, we have Best Fighting Game, which was God of Rock, which I totally forgot came out this year, Mortal Kombat 1, Nick All-Star Brawl 2, Pocket Bravery, and Street Fighter 6. Okay, let's not kid ourselves. It's pretty obvious what I voted here. It's Street Fighter 6. I don't know what else to say. I just really like Street Fighter 6. I will say, shout outs to Pocket Bravery for making it in this category. These nominees make a lot more sense compared to last year having Sifu in the fighting game category. That was weird. Alright, so Best RPG, which I have not voted on yet because I wanted to sort of talk about my thought process here. So we have Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Lies of P, Sea of Stars, and Starfield. I have not played these games. Some of these I really want to play. So this is entirely based on what I would really want to play and also what I've seen online. I'm not a Bethesda guy, so Starfield doesn't really do anything for me. And according to the Steam reviews, it's not doing anything for a lot of people, unfortunately. And Baldur's Gate 3, I feel like I need someone to explain Baldur's Gate 3 to me, because it seems like Baldur's Gate 3 is taking the world by storm, and I'm just not sure how. So this was not something that was initially on my radar, but based on how it's been doing, a lot of people seem to like it. Final Fantasy 16. It's almost weird that it's in the RPG category because of how gameplay-wise it is more of an action game, and also the whole controversy of the whole terminology of JRPG. Yeah, I feel like Final Fantasy 16 is just here because it's a Final Fantasy game, but I'm not going to consider that. So it really just comes down to Lies of P and Sea of Stars. Normally, I would have said Sea of Stars, because that's a game that I was heavily anticipated because I love Chrono Trigger and the games that it is taking inspiration from. However, I've heard from a few sources that the game is great visually and musically, but the plot and the characters are a bit of a letdown, and there's some end game stuff that doesn't really work all that well, which kind of brings it down a little bit. Still going to play this myself. Like I said, it really comes down to Lies of P and Sea of Stars, but I might just have to go with Lies of P. I'm gonna lock it in. Next we have Best Action Adventure, and the games are Alan Wake 2, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which I totally forgot came out this year, and Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Out of all of these, there's only one that I have played, even though I would like to play all of these. I just went with Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. It is a great game. However, even had I played all the games, I think Zelda still wins based on the description that they provided, which was for the best action-adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. When I think of traversal and puzzle solving, my mind immediately goes to Zelda. There's so many ways to traverse. When it comes to traversal, there's so many options in Zelda, from horseback riding to gliding to building vehicles to move around in. There's so many ways to move around, and of course puzzle solving, there's a lot of puzzles with the shrines and with the main dungeons. So Zelda Tears of the Kingdom gets my vote. So it's interesting that action game is separate from action adventure, which is a weird distinction, but the games in the action category are Armored Core 6, Dead Island 2, Ghost Runner 2, Hi-Fi Rush, and Remnant 2. All these games, I only played one of them, and honestly, this is probably another one where had I played all of them, this would get my vote. That game being Hi-Fi Rush. As someone that loves character action games, Hi-Fi Rush was just such a surprise to come out of nowhere and to be such a fun game to play. If this wasn't here, I probably would have chosen Armored Core 6 because that game looks really sick, but I gotta go for Hi-Fi Rush. Best mobile game, I picked Honkai Star Rail, no particular reason, this is the only game I played, so we're just gonna move on. Best debut indie game, which we have Cocoon, Dredge, Pizza Tower, Venba, and Viewfinder. So I've heard a lot of great things about Cocoon. That is definitely a game that I've been meaning to check out. But I have to say that all these games, there is one game that it seemed like it was inescapable. And so I'm just gonna have to go with Pizza Tower. This game seemed like it blew up out of nowhere earlier this year. And I would like to get around to playing this someday. So now we have Best Independent Game, which we have Cocoon, Dave the Diver, Dredge, Sea of Stars, and Viewfinder. From what I'm aware, there's a huge controversy behind Dave the Diver not truly being indie, leading to a whole discussion as what it means to be an indie developer. I'm not gonna get into all that. I will say this has to be a really tough category to choose from, especially since every year there are more and more indie games out there that it's so hard to just limit yourself to, what's this, 6? No, 5. For this category, I had to go based on the description where it says, for outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system. For technical achievement, for that portion alone, I chose Viewfinder. This game just looks so crazy, and it blows my mind seeing what kinds of stuff that you can do in this game. I'm not much of a puzzle type person, but there are some games like this that really grab my attention. One game in particular that I remember way back was a game called Antechamber. Best community support, I don't really care. I chose Baldur's Gate 3 because it seems like the developers are doing something right. It would have been easy for me to pick Final Fantasy 14 or No Man's Sky, but it seems like, and I could be wrong, that those two games win every year. So I just wanted to mix it up. So I wanted to give a win for Baldur's Gate 3 in this category. Next we have Best Ongoing, which I have no clue why Cyberpunk is on here when that is a single player game. I'm guessing the fact that they have DLC to extend the life of the game, that's considered ongoing. It's really weird that Cyberpunk is on here. I just decided to go with Fortnite simply because they brought back an OG map that like skyrocketed the views or skyrocketed the player count for the game again, which to me indicates that got something going on here. Otherwise, if it wasn't for that moment, I probably would have just picked Final Fantasy 14. For best performance, I just chose Benstar from Final Fantasy 16. Mainly because from all the pre-release marketing for Final Fantasy 16, they made a huge point of talking about how great the voice acting was in that game and how the lead character, Clive, sounded really great in that game. So that's literally the only reason I chose that, because I have not played all of these. Otherwise, I probably would have gone with Yuri from Spider-Man 2. So next category is Best Audio Design, and the games that we have are Alan Wake 2, Dead Space Remake, Hi-Fi Rush, Spider-Man 2, and Resident Evil 4 Remake. Now, with Best Audio Design, I feel like this is a category that tends to lean more towards horror games having an advantage, but I have to go with Hi-Fi Rush as the standout in here. Simply because this is an action game, an action rhythm game where everything is literally tied to music. Like, this is a game that had to be constructed so tightly to make sure that everything's synced up. From your attacks, from your enemies' attacks, parrying attacks, even just seeing the world just react to music beats happening within the level. It's just so well made. Keeping to the realm of audio, we have Best Score and Music. And the games we have are Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Hi-Fi Rush, and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So this is kind of a tough category to choose from, especially with the games that they have. So I chose Hi-Fi Rush for audio design because of how they use audio to tie in with gameplay, which I think is genius. Now with Tears of the Kingdom, it's very similar to Breath of the Wild, and the thing is I enjoyed Breath of the Wild's soundtrack and Tears of the Kingdom's. But the thing is, it's very minimalistic. Now, when the music kicks in, it kicks in so strong. They are giving it 110%, but it's very much a minimalistic soundtrack. I can't say anything about Baldur's Gate 3 until I've played it. Same thing with Alan Wake 2. So naturally, I chose Final Fantasy 16 for this. Based on trailers and the gameplay that I have seen, the music in Final Fantasy 16 sounds amazing. Which leaves us to our final category, which is Game of the Year. So we have Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and Tears of the Kingdom. Oh boy. So here's the thing. I've only played one of these games from this list, which is Tears of the Kingdom, but I still have to factor in the other games on this list. It almost feels like it's cheating to have Resident Evil 4 Remake, because Resident Evil 4 is one of the most ported games of all time. You can literally play the original Resident Evil 4 on modern systems, and here Resident Evil 4 Remake is here just to essentially give Resident Evil 4 another chance of being nominated for Game of the Year. That said, Resident Evil 4 Remake is amazing. There's Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which it's cool that there is a Mario game nominated for Game of the Year. I don't know if there actually has been a Mario game that's won Game of the Year before. Just by sheer proxy that it is here is amazing. Again, I wish I could say anything about Baldur's Gate 3 or Alan Wake 2 eventually, someday. Like I said, the only game that I have played is Tears of the Kingdom, but I really want to consider the other games on here. Super Mario Bros. Wonder is very unlikely. Great that it's here, but unlikely. Resident Evil 4 Remake, top-notch game. Kind of hard to have this be Game of the Year when, again, there are so many ways that you can play Resident Evil 4 on modern hardware. The original Resident Evil 4 on modern hardware. Spider-Man 2, great game, but it's more Spider-Man, which Spider-Man was already an amazing game when it first came out. This is building off of that, so it doesn't have that same surprise factor, you know? This is so hard because we're left with two games that I have no clue about. Two games that I think are good but don't have a chance of being Game of the Year. One game that I'm questioning why it's here, even if it is a really solid game. And then the only game that I have played on here, but I'm not sure if I would consider this Game of the Year. Oh man, this is so hard. Alright. I think I've made my decision. I'm going to choose the game that I have played, which is Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. However, if given the chance that I played all the games on here, I have a feeling that it will either come down to Alan Wake 2 or Baldur's Gate 3. I feel like I can't in good conscience choose the games I have not played, but I would probably say Baldur's Gate 3 has a very good chance of winning. But I'm just gonna go with the game that I have played, which is Tears of the Kingdom, even though I do not think that this will win Game of the Year. I will be pleasantly shocked if it does. Alright, so those are all the games that I voted for the Game of the Year categories. This was honestly kind of tough, especially since there are some choices that I'm not entirely sure if I agree with, and definitely seems like there should be some more categories. For example, why is there no platformer category? There have been so many platformers that have come out recently, particularly because of indies bringing them back, that it feels weird that there's not a category for them, since there's now more than we've ever seen before. There's Octopath Traveler 2 for Best RPG or Music. Where was Super Mario RPG? I literally just got that game. I'm not sure what's the cutoff for games to be nominated for Game of the Year, but hey, if Resident Evil 4 Remake can get on here multiple times, I am pleasantly shocked that Super Mario RPG Remake was nowhere here. Where was my boy Bomb Rush Cyberpunk? Bomb Rush Cyberpunk wasn't even included in Player's Choice. Like, come on, dude. But anyway, these are the games that I voted for the Game Awards. Comment down below, what games are you voting for? And what do you think will win Game of the Year? Let me know down below. If you're looking for a non-denominational church, down in the description below will be a link to our church locator. If you're interested in studying the Bible or you just want to hang out, link to my Discord is also down below. Once again guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace.